Hey gang, we pulled this water heater out of this home, and turns out this thing was made in January of 1977. It was original to the house and lasted over 40 years, which to me is incredible. Moving from the West Coast to Louisiana, water heaters on the West Coast where we live, they lasted about 8 years. The water here is such a high quality that it doesn't do a lot of damage to the tank. This is the anode rod. It hangs from this plug and is suspended inside the tank. These are typically made of magnesium. They can be zinc or aluminum. But the whole point of this rod is that it will corrode so that the tank will not corrode. This is sacrificial, and you can see that it did its job. It was loose in the tank, but it very well could have been attached. And then as we wrestled this out of the attic, it broke off. The tank is obviously steel, and it's in very good shape. This part is the flue. This is where your exhaust gases go. So this tank is filled with water under house pressure. The flame on the bottom heats the bottom of the tank. The exhaust gases go up inside this pipe and out of here at the top, Jordan, and they're vented to the outside. Quite a bit of corrosion on the flue, but these things get very hot. This is called the dip tube. You may have, if you've ever worked on a water heater, you know that there's a hot outlet and a cold inlet. And it matters because of this dip tube. This dip tube is connected to the cold, so that cold water enters the bottom of the tank. And then water is just like air in regards to, we all know that a hot air balloon rises because the hot air in the balloon is less dense than the surrounding air that's cooler. Same with water. Hot water rises. So you have hot water in the top of the tank, cold incoming water is entered in the tank at the bottom. These can often break off. And if you've ever had a problem with your water heater, it could be that the cold water is simply coming in right here and then immediately going out without getting heated. So the dip tube is an important part. Now this down here is your thermostat. That tells the gas valve when to come on and when to turn off. And then up here, Jordan, this is the probe for the T&P valve. T&P meaning temperature and pressure. Temperature and pressure relief valve. When I was a boy, our dad evacuated me and my 7 brothers and sisters from our house because steam was coming out of the hot water faucet. He knew immediately that that valve had failed and that we were getting boiling water in the water heater. He got us outside and turned off the gas main to shut off the fuel supply to the water heater, and immediately had that thing replaced. So these are a very important part of a water heater. And then they're always vented or piped to the outside of a building. It has to be the same size pipe, can't be plastic, has to be metal, and you can never have a belly in it. In other words, it has to drain continuously to the outside. I've seen so many of them where they'll use a flex connector and basically put a trap in there. Well, that trap can fill with water. If this is in an attic or a basement, that water could freeze, and then this thing could pop, and the water would have nowhere to go. So it's very important that those are always sloped towards the outside. We cut this open because we thought it would be interesting for us and our viewers. One more thing I wanted to add. The inside of these tanks are glass lined. We see some blue flakes in here. We don't know if that's evidence of the original glass coating, but the coating is not continuous. I would imagine that this sheet is covered with glass and then it's rolled and welded. And from what I've read, all parts of the tank are not coated. And that's why you need the anode rod. We thought that was interesting to look at a tank that had been in service for 40 years.
That did its job for 40 years.
That's right. So we'll see how long that brand new one lasts.
Yeah. See
I
if
think
they really do make them like they used to.
Yep, that's for sure. This is the old washing machine box. And the detergents we use in washing machines are pretty caustic. And you can see what they've done to this aluminum over the years. And this one's pretty interesting. This is a piece of copper. It's got a little flange on the top. And it's just captured in there by this piece of aluminum. And this just sat inside the pipe. So if this ever stopped up or this overflowed, you're going to actually have some water coming out right here inside the wall. And we found evidence of that. So we did not want to just change this. We wanted to change the entire standpipe to 2-inch pipe so that the new owners wouldn't have any problems. So pretty interesting how they used to do things, but now this is going in the trash.